Hello, my name is Rowland, and this is my capstone presentation. Who am I? Well, I am a fine arts major at the University of North Florida. My preferred pronouns are he, him, his. As a recently out individual coming out in June, I feel a part of my work is queer activism because that's something that I'm exploring and also wanting to make more awareness of because that was a huge issue for me. I am bisexual and demisexual. And for my capstone project, I will be focusing in on oil painting, screen printing, and relief. My inspirations. I have a lot of inspirations when it comes to artists, techniques, and old master stuff. But like, if I had to pick a few handful of artists that I find very inspiring to my work, it would be Jess Moroccan, Kahita Wiley, and Lucian Freud. Jess Moroccan and Kahita Wiley, both for their use of old master ideas and concepts and recontextualizing it to a modern audience, both talking about gender, expression, identity, queer themes, what it means to be in the modern society as a minority group, and trying to explore that dynamic through using the old master techniques and turning those stereotypes on its head. While Lucian Freud is a type of painter which I try to emulate and inspire towards because he's more of a direct painter. He uses thick, heavy brush strokes. He builds his layers up not with few glazes, but more of just putting down color and having color juxtaposition to it to render his figures, and that's something I tend to lean towards. So I'm trying to follow my painting style more towards his work. Themes and concepts. I touched on this with Justin Moroccan's work about like queer and gender identities and recontextualizing it with old master works. That is something I try to emulate in my work. In these pieces here, you can show my use of the figure, exploring religious iconography and spinning on its head to show the contradiction in organized religion. In the image on the far left, we were sober, is a painting where I really went into the Lucian Freud style of a rendering a figure in this reverse chiaroscuro effect, also playing with the scale that I be futurely be working on my current capstone project. And then on the screen print on the far right is me diving into queer identity for the first time in my work as a student. The project that sparked it all. This series of prints was really got me captivated in looking into identity and expression as a main focus in the type of work I want to produce as an artist. The poster project in Screen Print 1 last semester triggered this, and the professor told me to look into a issue or concern of mine that you wanted to support for an organization, found out there really isn't any positive masculinity organizations that truly are accepting of everyone. There's always a caveat, and to go against this almost like fence of like gatekeeping what it is to mean masculine, I decided to say, don't look for an organization because none of them are really doing it. I'm going to make my own content and express through this figure what it means to be masculine by making it a stereotypical person that would probably be shunned, bastardized, thrown out because of their way of expression, being thin built, wearing body jewelry, expressing what people would say feminine traits, but having them identify as masculine being the main message of just because I have nail polish on, just because I have jewelry, doesn't make me any less of a man. I still identify as such. And this is what sparked my screen print series that I will be doing for Capstone. To give more context to my work, here is some progress shots, my process to give an idea of how I work. I always start off with sketchbooks. I think that's the strongest aspect of any artist, and it helps us get ideas and refine them later on to our final product. I probably went through 20 pages figuring out the layout before getting to the final concept, which I would then refine into a drawing, turn into stencils, be it Photoshop or hand-drawn on Duralar. I would build up my layers depending on the process. For this, I did a flat, then the halftone, and then you can see in the final product, I did the gold layer in the black box. Since I've talked about my screen print process in depth, I should probably also talk about my painting process because I'm a dual artist when it comes to those themes. For oil painting, I start with a Gashtier layer, then go into an underpainting using the Zorn palette, and then I slowly build up my layers with glazes to get more modern colors, to get the vibrancy I want, that I admired in um, Just a Moroccan's work. Queer Cathedral, my capstone project. The title I've kind of overarched on all the pieces that will make up my installation that I want to perform. Right now, it's currently going to be an altarpiece known as the Spectrum of Bisexual Identity, which will be rendered in oil paint, gold leaf, hinges, the whole works. On the walls, I will be having a series of 3 screen prints that are expanding on the this is masculine identity, expanding the definition between a man who's expressed like in the poster project, 2 men hugging, showing intimacy towards another, and then a man crying, showing that in all these states, these individuals are still masculine regardless of how they identify. Spectrum of bisexual identity, clear cut, is showcasing the full spectrum. I will also be probably doing a relief block to build a ceiling, but that is to be determined. And here's the progress of the works in general. To the left is the relief block I was talking about. I need to get some feedback from professors to see how feasible this is, but it is an addition I would like to introduce. And on to the right is my grisaille layers of the back of my doors of my altarpiece. Here are my references, and thank you so much for listening to my talk. If you want to see more of my work, I have an extensive body on Instagram under the handle of an artist named Storm. And I thank you so much for listening to me today and talk about my work. Thank you so much.